I've been thinking a lot lately about why some media audiences reject certain media so strongly, and the answer I've come up with is change. This is nothing new. Change will always be a problem for some people, but it just seems like with digital technology and the ability to speak anonymously, we're more vocal than ever when we don't like something. And it seems to me like this happens when people don't get what they want or what they expected. So in this video, I thought we could take a look at some theoretical perspectives as to why audiences reject media in the face of change. Before we start, I'd like to quickly mention today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online community of super talented people who share their specialist skills with you. Now, if you're watching this video, the chances are you're a film student or enthusiast, and there are tons of courses which could really help you develop your film skills. One course I took was Advanced Video Editing with Adobe Premiere Pro by Jordi Vanderput. It covers in-depth aspects such as shortcut layouts, project settings, even how to stabilize footage. Now, I've been using Adobe Premiere for years, and I learned so much in terms of shortcuts and hidden little features just by taking this course. If you're interested in joining the Skillshare community, the first 1,000 people who click the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial. Now, back to our question, why do audiences reject change? So first, let's just be clear what I'm talking about when I say change. I'm referring to things like Luke Skywalker being turned into a hermit in The Last Jedi instead of a hero, or the lineup of Ghostbusters being changed to an all-female cast, or crafting temporarily being removed from Fortnite. In all of these cases, and I'm sure you can think of many more, there's been an outpouring of hatred and rage online. What's interesting is new franchises might spark a bit of heat online, but it's really the older, more beloved franchises which can really spark some heat online if there's any change introduced. This initially brought up two theories in my mind, the first being uses and gratification theory, which said audiences get a sense of personal identity and social interaction from the media texts that they consume. So for example, if you've grown up with an image in your mind of Luke Skywalker, what he represents and the relationship you have with that character, you're bound to feel angry and resist it when producers change this. Have a think to your favorite character from a game or a TV show or a movie of all time. Think about the relationship that you've built with them, the sense of nostalgia, possibly even the sense of identity that you've gotten from them, and how you'd feel if the producer changed it. I think it's almost natural that you'd probably resist this. The other theorist that spoke a bit about gratification was Steve Neale, who, in his work about genres, says the audience is gratified by having their expectations of genres met. So he basically said media texts need to have some element of difference so they feel new and unexpected, otherwise it would just be boring. But more importantly for today's question, they need to have similarity, they need repetition. That's what we derive pleasure from. Now within a genre, if you think about your favorite, this could be something very, very specific. If you're a Star Wars fan, if you like sci-fi, it might be that you love the lightsaber battles or the space battles. It might be that you love and expect to have a happy ending at the end of a rom-com. Producers can obviously play with these conventions, they need to, but sometimes when they push it too far, they can really upset the audience. Of course, not everybody's going to reject the text. Some people will like it, some people will hate it, and this brings about Stuart Hall's reception theory. He basically argued that audiences will consume texts and decode them based on things like their ideology, their age, their culture. So perhaps people with a connection to existing franchises are simply more likely to have an oppositional reading, that means reject it, if it's tampered with too much, whereas someone new to a text will more likely have the producer's preferred reading. Or maybe they simply reject it because ideologically they disagree with what the producer is portraying. Now this actually brings about the more sinister side to when audiences reject elements of a text. What I'm talking about here is racism and sexism. Now Bell Hooks is a feminist theorist that speaks of a social hierarchy, with white men being represented at the top of the ladder, followed by white women, and people of colour, again male followed by female, represented with less power. With this in mind, if we take a look at the appalling racial abuse directed towards Moses Ingram, who played Reva in Kenobi, how many of the oppositional readings are coming from people who reject the representation of a female person of colour in a position of power? Now, I think this is the ugliest response to change and the ugly side of the internet, and I think it needs to be tackled directly, just like Ewan McGregor did in response to the online hate.
And if you're sending her bullying messages, you're no Star Wars fan in my mind. There's no place for racism in this world.
So there's a few reasons why audiences might reject a media text. But what happens next? Well, if we look at Shirky's end of audience theory, we can look at how modern technology has given a voice to everyone as prosumers, producer-consumers. So those within the fandom of a given text have the ability to speak back and voice their grievances. This creates a weird sort of economy where media producers are more beholden to what the audience wants, lest they revolt. I mean, take a look at the rage from fans after the original Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. It was so strong that they went back and reimagined the whole character. I think the fact that media producers have actually acted on audience feedback has given the audience a sort of power and entitlement, so that now, when the audience doesn't get what it wants, it feels the right to speak up and share hate online.
Oh my god, ew! 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 Oh my god! Oh my god, it's so ugly!
So there we go, guys. We've had a little bit of a tour of theory today to try and answer the question. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Is there anything I missed out? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to find out more about any of the theorists we've talked about today, check out my playlist on media theorists, because I've spoken about most of them in separate videos, so you can really dig a little bit deeper. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.